back. I'm Matt Sulo. Let's take you live now to Melbourne. Nick Kyrgios is speaking to the media ahead of the Australian Open. Let's listen in.
I've been playing more tennis more than ever, so I think me trying to emulate the match load, in training and the body getting used to it again. I mean, anyone that's had an injury, it's kept them out of the game for a year plus, know that it's so hard to load manage because you're trying to, get ready for that match intensity. So I think that's what I was doing. I was, after Brisbane, it was really encouraging. Obviously my body was struggling a little bit, but I was like, okay, I'm going to try and build on that. And then obviously had a little bit more of a setback. But I think it's just part of the game. Niggles, I don't think anyone really feels 100%. But look, as long as it's not something like my wrist again, I think I can manage it.
James. Nick, one of the parts of the job is the antidote stuff and getting tested and making sure you're putting the right things into your body. Can you just talk about what it's like having to think about that on a day-to-day basis? And do you ever get worried that, when you see other people on tour accidentally get pinged, how much anxiety does that create for players?
Look, I don't want to speak too much about it. I think we've all been speaking about it. I feel like that's the only thing tennis has been speaking about the last 6 months. But for me, to answer your question, I've been tested, 4 times in the last, couple months. I got tested in my home 3 days ago. So for me, it hasn't been a problem at all in my career. I've been on the tour now for 10 plus years. So, for me, it's not, I'm not worried at all because I know that I'm really, really on top of what's going on in my team. And I'm very confident in myself that I'm not going to be accidentally putting something in my system.
Summerfield from 3AW. Two-part question. First, how's the body feeling after that brief session this morning? And secondly, there are a few photographers and media who were asked not to attend that session. Was there any reasoning behind that?
The media loves me for some reason. I'm not too sure why. So I'm not surprised that I saw cameras and things out there. But it wasn't actually supposed to be a closed session at all. I think it was a misunderstanding. I didn't mind seeing the cameras and people out there. It was good. It created a bit more of an atmosphere and a vibe. And, anytime I get to play, whether it's a match or practice in front of these fans, there were so many kids out there. I think that's special for me that I have noticed that I'm a bit of a role model for these kids. So it was good. No, I didn't mind it at all. But, my body's feeling okay after today's session, and I'm going again with Pericard at 4:30.
Matt.
What do you think you bring to an event like this? What does the event have when you're playing in it that it might not when you're not playing in it? And does that sort of weigh on you in any way?
Well, that's a good question. I think, we watch sport because we want personalities. I think, we love, we watch, tennis as well. It's that one-on-one aspect of, there's coaching allowed, but I really enjoyed tennis because it was 1v1. You had to watch that person figure it out over a 4 or 5 hour period. And you saw the amount of emotions that one person goes under, and it's like drama, it's like theatre. So for me personally, me being back, I think it adds a bit of question marks to what's going to happen today, where that's I love that. I don't know whether, every time I step out on court, I don't know if I'm going to be super controversial in a good or bad way, which, throughout my career, it hasn't always been good, but it's added a lot of excitement to the game, I think. I think it's important because there's so many good players on the tour now, but I think there's not so many contrasting personalities. So I think it's healthy that, I'm back and I'm playing. It doesn't really weigh on me, though. I've always been someone that's played my brand of tennis, and I guess my personality, I haven't changed since I was 10 years old. Anyone that knows me knows that I've been, just how I am now. So I think it's good to be back, and I think it's important because I think the sport was getting a bit mundane.
Simon.
When you were out, I know you were around the tour commentating a bit and seeing, you were watching what's going on. When you're out for quite a long period of time, is there a fear that the tour has moved on? Did you ever feel like that was a concern when you came back?
Most definitely don't feel like. It's definitely the changing of the guard, that's for sure. You look at, when I was, say like Sinner or Alcaraz at that age, when I was playing, some of my best tennis, I had to get through 4 of the greatest of all time in their prime trying to chase legacy stats. So, it was very hard for me to kind of I'm not saying I always ran into them. That was the reason I didn't win a slam, but it was realistically, what are the chances of you winning a slam if you got to beat all three of those guys in their prime, or virtually impossible. So I definitely feel like it's a changing of the guard, and there's such an amazing young crop of players coming in now, and they're incredible talents. And you look at like someone like Fonseca as well, who's 17 or 18 years old playing ridiculous tennis, and he's like the next generation, but he's going to be knocking on the door pretty soon as well. But I definitely don't feel like the media thinks I've moved on. It seems to be the only thing they can talk about. I would love to just fly under the radar if possible, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be happening.
Is there ever a fear that tennis has moved up a level and that you won't be able to cope with it?
So you mean like my level, like my actual tennis level?
Your confidence in your ability and stuff.
I mean, I've beaten pretty much everyone that the sport's put in front of me before. So I'm always going to back my ability. And, people are always going to say, be realistic, or you're not going to be the same. Like, I unfortunately don't have that mindset. I always have utmost confidence in my ability to, if I'm playing my style of tennis and my unpredictability, like I've got a chance against anyone. And I think that's the mindset you need to have against the people. Like if I walked out on the court against Nadal, Djokovic, Federer for the first time and was realistic, I probably wouldn't have won. But, like a kid from Canberra going out there and beating those, like you can't be realistic. You have to be like, you have to think, I think I'm the best tennis player in the world. Like, is that realistic? Probably not. But I think that when I'm out there. And I think if I play any of these top guys now, I have to have that mindset. Otherwise, I'm going to get blown off the court. That's where I have my confidence comes from, my belief in my own ability.
Charlie? Back from breaks, they talk about feeling refreshed, recharged. I just wondered how different it feels for you having not played.
I guess I don't feel like fresh or recharged, but I feel like I haven't been around this kind of Grand Slam. There's I forgot the amount of emotions that you feel. The nervousness when the draw comes out, or seeing all these guys in the locker room. It is our sport is truly strange. It's the strangest dynamic. Like you're literally showering, eating, spending time with your competitors that you're going to go out and literally go to war against. It's such a strange dynamic compared to any other sport. But I feel at home. I guess the Australian Open's been an amazing event for me and for many others. But I feel back at home being at a Grand Slam and the preparation and the team environment and stuff. It's pretty cool.